And now up on the Ron Johnson Show, a staple now of the show, Gabe Henderson, my boy. And normally we talk football. We're always into football. That's what we do. The draft coming up. We're going to do the draft social. Make sure you check us out on Vikings.com. Fox 9 is going to carry a little bit of it. I'm pretty sure Care 11 is going to show me and Gabe talking. Everybody wants to hear me and Gabe have to say. So make sure you guys check out what we have to say about the NFL draft. But we're going to have some fun today. We're going to put Gabe in the, fan chair. And so, Gabe, looking at the Minnesota Wild, you look at the Timberwolves, the winter season is upon us, and these teams are doing great. Now, the Twins started off great, so there was some hype there with Correa, but now 3-6, Buxton hurt. But with this winter, 2 playoff teams in the winter, does that now put pressure? Are the fans kind of going to be spoiled going into the fall, expecting with Kevin O'Connell that the Vikings should be in the playoffs?
Absolutely. I think, this we both know that this is, the state of hockey, but it's a Vikings town. And even though other teams are winning right now, which is great, which makes the energy of Minnesota as high as it's been since I've been here the past 2 years, I think that still puts more pressure on this Vikings team to make it to the playoffs. So you got a team that's been right on the cusp, right? You've been in 8-9 or 7-9 the past 2 years, and then you one game away from making the playoffs, and now you bring in a coach that's got Super Bowl experience with the new regime, but still kind of the same players that has gotten you to the playoffs in years past. Yeah, like now it's your turn to win. Now it's the Timberwolves and the Wild are basically saying Vikings, like your turn. Like we did what we're supposed to do. I mean, the Timberwolves, I mean, they look prime right now to make it to the second round. So it's like if they make it to the second round, then that's the bar for what the Vikings will have to be this upcoming year. So I think right now this Vikings team has to follow that Timberwolves model. If the Timberwolves don't make it out of the first round, we'll take a wild card. If the Timberwolves make it to the second round, hey Vikings, you got to make it to that divisional round. So we'll see. But the pressure is at an all time high. You can't let these other two teams that aren't top of the market outplay the number one team in this market, which is the Vikings.
And I think winning is contagious. You look at LA, that one cycle of the Dodgers, the Lakers, and the Kings all making it and winning Super Bowls, championships. And then, you end up getting the LA Rams to win a championship as well. So LA kind of, they had their cycle of greatness with the
Right.
Lakers, the Rams, you got the Kings and the Dodgers. And I don't know if the Twins will ever get there, but the Wild and the Timberwolves are making that push, and now they need the Vikings to help them out. But looking at the Timberwolves celebration, we all have seen it. We all have heard about it. We have people hating on it. We're going to try to get Lavelle on the show to double down on that you celebrated too much. We had Ben Utek on talking about Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy actually texted me yesterday out of the blue, which was, reminded me of some of the stories that Ben talked about. And, Tony Dungy and I were, we just kind of text back about seeing each other this weekend. He'll be here this weekend, so we're going to catch up on Saturday. And so, thinking about celebrations, Dungy was we're not going to celebrate until we're there. Like, we're going to wait to the end. But the Timberwolves and the Vikings, even, you look at Stephon Diggs, throws the helmet. The whole city goes crazy. People are jumping in pools. People are peeing on themselves because they're so excited about the Vikings winning. And then they go lay an egg against the Eagles in the NFC Championship. Timberwolves, people were expecting that. Like, you wasted so much energy, like Barkley and Shaq, and everybody's making fun of them, about that. Karl-Anthony Towns kissing his wife on the court. But Tony Dungy kind of said family first. I don't mind the families being on the court. It is a family atmosphere. That's what this is about. We want your family to feel involved in this win because they are a part of it. They are your mental stability when you get home. They feed you. And so when you look at the Timberwolves celebration, do you think that it was too much, especially now seeing that they went out and still beat the Grizzlies handily in that first game?
As of right now, no, because of what the last thing you just said. They just won their last game, and if they win this series, it's like that celebration was warranted. They've never. I mean, you've been there longer than I have. The Timberwolves have never won anything of significance, and this was the first time they had been in a playoff game since almost a decade. And the fact that
Well,
they won it
18
in
they
that
went.
fashion.
Everybody keeps forgetting about Jimmy Butler. So they did go in
Okay.
2018. Everybody forget that season because we don't want to admit him. But yeah, you're right. Like, when I was in the NFL, I came back for the Lakers Timberwolves playoff series, and it was here. Well, 2 of the games were here. And again, they weren't going to beat Kobe, but it was cool for me to come back and see Kobe live in the playoffs. But yeah, it was like
Yeah.
2003, 2004. I was with the Ravens, and so yeah, it's been a long, like 2 decades since they've been in significant playoff games. So yeah, you're right.
So I mean, so on top of that, it's like, yeah, there's a side of me that says act like you've been there, but when you never really been there as a team, it's like, dude, let it all out. Like this, we may not ever get this moment ever again. So I'm gonna leave it all on the court. And yeah, Pat Bev, we know Pat Bev is like, I saw a tweet that said they call him Pat Beverage because he always
Oh
got
yeah.
he turn up like he got a beverage in his hand. So just seeing that, that celebration, I'm like, all right, y'all got to figure this thing out. And the fact that they won game one in the fashion they did in Memphis, it's like, all right, I mean, keep celebrating. You can celebrate like that after game two, game three, however much you want to do, as long as these wins keep piling up. So I am on the side of the fence, is like, act like you've been there. This is one of those things where you got to be professional, but still, there's only so many times you get opportunities like this to be able to, I mean, celebrate a playoff win. Technically, they won that playoff series, so that's their first playoff series win. And if you're playing 2K, right, and every time you win every series, there's confetti coming out of the top of the arena, and everybody's celebrating. So, man, live your best life, Pat Bev.
And man, like I'm a break it down to something a lot of people won't understand, that we saw, or at least I saw, and I know you saw because everybody's talking about it on Twitter and everything. But T Morant and Karl-Anthony Towns' dad. So Ja's dad and Karl-Anthony Towns' dad dap it up at midcourt. He's talking to the camera, talking about we want all the smoke, blah, blah, blah. But the fact that they embrace to see two black fathers, one, present in their sons' lives, huge, impactful fathers in their sons' lives. So often they want to talk about the downtrodden, the bad within the community sometimes. And to see that, man, like how uplifting was that to see that? And then to see two young men who've not been in the media for anything besides great play, not off the court issues, no DUIs, no mistakes, man. Like how cool was that to
Sure.
see on national TV?
Yeah, that was very cool to see. I mean, no matter how you look at it, it's black dads who are proud of their black sons to be able to make an impact not only on the game of basketball, but in the game of life. So they're the proudest men in the world. They got two sons that are playing at the highest level and able to provide an impact for a city that hasn't been there in years. Like Memphis hasn't had that impact before Ja Morant in years. So the fact that the dads are able to be able to experience that, and it's showing black dads in a positive light. I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that. And I'm just looking at just the fact that not Pat Bev's dad, but John Morant's dad is like the boys, like he's at every single game courtside. And I know a lot of black dads. I'm thinking of like LeVar Ball. A lot of black dads in the in the frame of sports, they always get a bad rep. So the fact that
Yep.
it's being celebrated in this sense and it's being supported, like that's all you can ask for, man. And I hope if this series goes to 7 games, they do that all 6 games, because you're supposed to be proud of your parents. I mean, you're supposed to be proud of your kids. And if you're not doing anything that's a detriment to society, and you're not taking away from the game, and you're uplifting your sons, who is making you guys, is making your city a lot of money, man, get in front of the camera, do whatever you got to do every single game.
Yeah, man. And so we're gonna go with the fun question now. Like me and you, I know. So I wouldn't ask a lot of people this question because everybody can't hoop. Like there's not everybody can't hoop. But receivers, we know receivers are usually the best hoopers in the room. So I pose this question for you: the NFL is hosting a conference tournament, but you have to get out of your conference first. So the Lions, the Vikings, the Bears, and the Packers have to play 5-on-5 basketball, a la above the rim. Rest in peace to Tupac, Dwayne Martin out there playing point guard. Um, if you were to put your top five on the court, and I know Justin Jefferson's one because he already told us he's the best player
Yeah,
on the court when he was on with you and I on the Vikings Vantage
audible.
podcast, and
Yeah,
so Audible, the
yeah.
Audible, and so he told us he was the number one point guard. We'll have to pull that clip, put this on our show, but yeah, he said I'm the number one player on this team, no question. Who's your other four with Justin Jefferson? Unless you're going to snub Justin Jefferson and not put him on your top five.
Nah,
Who's
nah.
your top five?
He starting JJ starting point guard on that squad. Like I watched his vlog. He did a vlog last year,
Yeah, yeah. He
basically
told us
his
to
off
watch it.
season
Yeah, I haven't watched it
workouts,
yet.
and
Yep.
it's legit. It's legit. The dude can
Okay.
hoop. So no shade there. So two, I'm gonna go with Irv Smith Jr. Like Irv was nice
Okay.
in high school. Apparently, according to JJ, Irv could have played in college. So the fact that
Okay.
Irv can ball, he's from Louisiana also. So I'm going with him. And then I got to go Brian O'Neill. Brian O'Neill was Delaware. basketball state player of the year his senior year of high school. And apparently
Okay.
he was like a 6'5" or 6'6" slashing guard at 6'6", what, 290 now? So imagine
Right.
that. So I'm taking my chances there, good footwork. And then Tristan Jackson is who everybody talks about. He's a receiver on this Vikings roster that JJ speaks really highly of. Keenan McCardell, the Vikings wide receiver coach, say Tristan Jackson can hoop. So I'll probably go there. And then for the last one, I'll probably have to go with my guy from North Carolina, Ty Smith. He's a
Okay.
cornerback for the Vikings, just got re-signed. And simply because I've seen him play in high school, and just understanding that like he wasn't the best hooper, but he's 6'1", 6'2", and can shoot, and he's from the hoop
Okay.
state of North Carolina. I think he could fit in, find his role, and score a couple of baskets. If he's left open in the corner. So I'm taking that 5 over anybody in the NFC North. I haven't looked at any other roster, but I'm just making this hot take right now. I'm taking him over any roster in the NFC North and going from there.
Well, Ty Smith, normally I wouldn't put a cornerback on my team, but everybody needs that Pat Bev, like can hit the stop and pop from the free throw line jumper, but he's going to play
Right,
ridiculous defense. He's going to foul you. He's going to be petty on the court. And I think that's where Ty
right.
Smith fits in. We know JJ is a scorer. Yeah, Brian O'Neill, man, with his size, he still looks like he can move well. So I like that solid
Yeah.
5. I know Adam Thielen's not going to be happy with you because Thielen swears he is one of the best hoopers out there. I would have seen now when Kyle Rudolph, he's a free agent. So I think that's the key. If
Yeah.
Kyle Rudolph comes back and they do find a way to get him back for cheap, Kyle Rudolph is a really good hooper. Like him and Karl-Anthony Towns
Like
have played one-on-one and against each other before.
I love Adam Thielen, but nobody has ever said he's good outside of him. Like I was like on the borderline of saying like Adam Thielen is the guy, but like he talks about how good he is. I haven't heard anyone else say Adam Thielen is that
He's the
guy.
only
So
one.
yeah, so I'm like, all right, well, I want to throw Thielen
I
in
got to get
there,
him on
but
the
I
show
need
now. I
somebody
got
to.
to get him on here because he's got to fight for himself, man. He's got to fight. Fight back, Thielen. You got to fight back, bro.